Welcome to the home of the DIY movement, where we build stuff and paint things.
All right, y'all, welcome back. It's October 18th, 2025. I had a guy watches the video, subscriber, asked me if I can do an overview on this Atlas lift, Atlas Baseplate 2-post lift, and I was like, sure. I hadn't actually done one. I did one on the air filtration and other things I got that I use in the shop, but never the lift. So let's get into it, man. So this is an Atlas Baseplate 2-post lift. The part number is BP, I want to say BP 9000, which is Baseplate 9000, 9,000 pound capacity, allegedly. I want to say when I bought it, they had like pictures on their website, like this thing picking up dualies or 3/4 ton trucks and vans and stuff. I've never tried that. Honestly, I'm kind of terrified of this thing because I just don't like cars way up in the air. I've actually never had a car all the way up. I don't know that it can go all the way up because of the ceiling trusses. So the reason why I picked this lift, so let's rewind. So when I had the shop built, I had it mapped out. I drew it out on paper. And this area right here where the lift is, this whole section is deeper concrete. I want to say it's a foot thick, whereas the manufacturer recommends at least a 4-inch slab. So it's a foot thick. I got this lift from Greg Smith Industrial, I believe. Greg Smith. It's not Greg Smith Automotive. It's Greg Smith something. I'm kind of winging it here. But they're basically a distributor. They have, I want to say I got this in Waco, but they have a couple, I want to say about 3 distributors throughout the country. And I went and picked it up. At the time, it was 2012. I want to say the lift was $1,800. I'll look online when I post this video, but it's probably double. So back to when I had this thing installed. Well, I installed it, but when I had the shop built, the area right here, the concrete is a foot thick. Did that on purpose. Me and my dad installed this lift. It took probably about 4 or 5 hours. So all we did basically was map it out, drill the holes with a hammer drill, hammer those anchors in, and then set the post on top and bolt it down. Then we wired it up. The manufacturer recommends to hardwire this thing. I didn't. I plug it in. I know this is probably not OSHA, won't pass OSHA inspection, but the reason why I did a plug-in was that because I figure the welder would plug in there also, and you're never going to use the lift and the welder at the same time. You'll use the lift to pick the car up, and then you can unplug the lift and plug the welder machine in, and we can do whatever we need to do. So I plug it in. It's 220. I ran that myself. I know. Ran it all the way up, ran it all the way across, ran it all the way over there, ran it all the way down to a breaker. Did that myself. And honestly, man, this thing has been a beast. The only issue I've ever had was this hose dry rotted, and I never even bothered looking at it. Honestly, we use this thing on the weekends only, and it never crossed my mind to look at the hose to assess it. And one day we're over here doing something, and I noticed like a little pile of trash, and it was the hose deteriorating. So I was like, oh crap, I should probably get that fixed. I waited about a week, and then it started leaking. So I was like, okay. So I went to Napa and had this hose made, and it was like $140 for number 4 JIC, I think. But that's the only issue I've ever had. The reason why I selected this lift, for one, is limitations in the ceiling. 2, price, $1,800 at the time. I was like, man, I need that for what I plan on doing, which was like pulling cars off the frame. Really, that's what I use it for. I really don't drop transmissions and do that type of stuff. But I remember whenever I was shopping, I was looking at the Max Jacks, which is like a portable lift, which is like half the size, and I was almost sold on getting one of those. And man, because of the portability, and man, I'm so glad I didn't, because those are, I wouldn't even mess with that, man. And actually, it was more. The base plate was cheaper. One regret I do have is that it's a base plate. I don't know if I could have squeezed in a regular 2-post lift in between the trusses. Probably could have. I probably could have. I don't like that it's a base plate. The downside to that is that whenever you have a car that doesn't run, you got to push it over the base plate. I know on the when we're messing with rotisserie and body cart stuff, you can't really push the rotisserie over this. So what I do is I take the base plate off, and all that's under there is cables and a hose, and then you only have to go over something about that high. So I use a little floor jack and push it over. That's the downside. But the amount of times that we do that like once a year, twice a year maybe. It's not that big of a deal. But one thing to consider is you get a base plate lift, you have a car that don't run, you're gonna have to push it over. One thing I considered, actually I did at one point, was I bolted a winch to this this post, a little Harbor Freight ATV winch, and you can drag it over with a winch when you're by yourself, because you're talking about cars like this, you know, they got 6 batteries in the trunk, a wrap frame and all that. That's a lot to push for one person. You almost can't do it, but the little winch made it real easy. So like I said, we installed this myself, just greased it in there a long time ago. Came with instructions. I picked it up on a 2-car hauler. I have pictures of that. I have to post them up, but haven't had any issues with any of the interior of the mechanical stuff. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pick this thing all the way up so you can see how high it goes. All right, that's it. That's maxed out. I've never had a car up that high. I don't know that you can. I mean, you probably could, but I don't, man. I pick it up about chest high, and I use a stool under the car because I'm paranoid of shit falling off. Man, this thing has came in handy so many times for stuff other than automobiles. I mean, we hung a frame from it. We paint frames from it. When we paint, we hang things from the arm. That's why I got so much overspray. So it doubles up as more than just a lift. I'm gonna bring it down. I'm gonna show you guys how far the arms extend. Here's the lift arms extended. And like I say, I did some homework before I bought a lift, because not all 2-post lifts arms will reach the lifting points on an X-frame car. So you see a lot of people online or on eBay, or they're selling cars and they're picking them up by the rockers, or they're picking them up by the floor pan, which is one way to do it. But the proper way is to lift it up by the frame. So these arms will damn near hit each other. So you definitely want that when you're looking for a lift that can pick up X-frame cars. You definitely don't want to be picking them up from the rockers if you got batteries in the trunk, or if your car is not completely solid, because it will buckle the quarter panel. You can ask me how I know that. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this little tech talk here on the Atlas Baseplate 9000 2-post lift. To me, it's the second best tool in the shop. First best is going to be air compressor. Second's lift. Third is refrigerator. Hope you guys enjoyed it, man. Y'all stay tuned for more work. Thanks for watching.